It's a giraffe. All right. Hey, everybody. So welcome to the Balena Productions panel. I am Mr. Productions. This is going to go, I'm going to try to do this a little quicker now. So firstly, is there anybody in the audience that does not know who I am? Thanks for the ego stroke. So I made this panel, so I have to do it anyway. So for those of you in the audience who do know who I am, I have made such classics as the OMG Most Original Fanfic Idea Ever, which turned 15 years, man. I'm getting old, man. Then, of course, we have Sonic and Glitchhog, which is a classic. Oh, okay, it does not like, okay, Sonic and Jaws. Sonic Zombies. Ooba Dooba. Christmas with Sonic. Sonic and Jurassic Park. 30 years old today, Jurassic Park. And finally, but not least, does this work? Okay, cool. Sonic Get Scared Stupid. All right, and that's going to be one of our main topics today. So, Sonic Get Scared Stupid. It's our Halloween adventure series. It started in 2009, back when I had to draw their mouths on with Photoshop. Of course, the next level, we did a little bit of a better animation to actual full-fledged animation, and the things we're doing now are insane. Sonic Get Scared Stupid, the final chapter, is a movie we've been working on for a while, and we call it a movie because while it may not be feature length, it is most certainly getting a ton of effort like any movie. It is going to be the best thing we've ever made. A ton of people are working on it, and we are having a blast. So, for those of you who remember in Scared Stupid 3, the Dr. Schnitzelhosen was coming after Sonic, and now he wants revenge, of course, and in the final chapter we're going to introduce a new character by the name of Mel. We're going to talk about her. Wow. That's really nice to hear because, like, we haven't even made this thing. You guys are like, oh, about Mel already. So, she's excited. Her and Dr. Schnitzelhosen, oh yeah, so that's another thing. I'm supposed to be able to see my things. I'm improvising with this. So basically the plot is that her and Dr. Schnitzelhosen are about to open a portal to another world where there are monsters to rule the world, and the only ones that are going to be able to stop them are Sonic, Tails, and Amy. Now this was made in Source Filmmaker, as I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. However, when we moved to Blender, we had to upgrade these characters for the modern age. So this is our new Sonic model. We tried really hard to make him look sort of like a Sonic Adventure Sonic rather than just pure modern Sonic. He's got shorter legs and a more round proportion. And of course, our good friend Spoon Scribble did these amazing textures, and he was modeled by my good friend Baranga, and he looks just so sharp. Next up, I'm excited about this next one. So we got Tails, of course, and which KN is in the audience. Hi, Tails! You going trick-or-treating, huh? I'm not. But anyway, so he is, of course, dressed in his Halloween costume as Doc Brown from Back to the Future, which is specifically, I'm sorry, we're not making Sonic and Back to the Future, but this is, it's inspired specifically by the ride, which we tragically lost. He's wearing his Institute of Future Technology, and he's gonna just, I can't have him go trick-or-treating with this, because people are gonna be like, what's Back to the Future? Be like, I'm just old. All right, now, Amy. I know we haven't been very nice to Amy, but that's all gonna change. So, with Christmas with Sonic and stuff, you know, I'm sure the fan base at this point knows, like a lot of people, like, oh, Amy's like the super stalker and stuff like that. But we're gonna give Amy a little bit more action. And her model is not completely finished yet, but we did a little Christmas with Sonic reanimated, and that's kind of a taste of what's to come. Amy is going to be up front in the action with Sonic and Tails. She's not going to be a damsel in distress. The three of them are the core of the story, and can't wait to see you, let you guys see it. Yeah. I'm sorry, Amy. Anyway, so then we got our villains, of course. This is, of course, the SFM versions. Back in these days, I had to basically just borrow models, and we have the Medic from TF2 and Killer Croc from Batman, which is kind of like, why are they meshed together? So, starting with Scared Stupid Part 4, we have been completely redesigned Dr. Schnitzelhosen. He's very, very good looking, yeah? We're actually very delighted in the audience today. We have Indigo Blues up front. He showed up to rep today. Big hand for our friend. And he looks great, and the main inspiration is that they're supposed to look like the humans from Sonic Unleashed. So he fits right in with that world, and I can't wait. I can't spoil anything, but this is going to be good stuff. Next, we got Frankie Boy, and we all know Francis. He loves candy and all that other such. He was, of course, designed by Rihanna, who's in the audience and also at our table. Come say hi. And our friend Lix's modeled this great model. He looks like he belongs in the Sonic universe, which is something that we now, with the power of Blender, can do. Mel! So Mel is a very special character to us because when I finished Scared Stupid 3 and it went on YouTube and became this big success, I'm like, well, I got to make another one. And what am I going to do this time? Now, Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love it. You know, vampires, all that. And I'm like, I want to have a vampire character. And so I went up to our two designers. You guys may have met them at the table there, Rihanna and Kim. And I gave them three words: vampire, bat, babe. And they got right to it. And you know, we went through a couple of different designs for Mel, and we eventually settled on it. And then, of course, Melancholy modeled Mel amazingly. She looks like an official character. This is not using any kind of base or anything. This is, you know, we borrowed a little bit of parts from Rouge like Frankenstein, but that's about it. So we haven't really talked about like what Mel's really going to do because we still want to keep it a secret because this video is, or this movie I should say, is a little bit off. But we'll tell you guys that she is a villain, and I'm not going to give you her motivation, but we love Mel. She's great. You guys are going to love her. She's a fireball of energy. She's a spoiled brat, and she's really funny. So when we finished designing Mel, I had to write the script, and I had an idea of a voice in my head of how would Mel sound. And so I reached out to a few actors, and while they did a good job, they were missing the spark that I needed. So then I found Sydney Page, who is in the audience. We bear no relation. You know, she's got the IGE, I'm the AGE, but she got it immediately. I've never had someone who went and studied like accents and talked to a coach, and I'm like, whoa, this is just a stupid little video on YouTube. But she took it so seriously, and our audition was so great. In fact, when we were recording, there was a moment where I said, okay, scream. Did you scream? And it was so loud the microphone didn't even pick it up. Thankfully, her side did, so she knows how to act. And I have a little treat for you guys. We have a voice sample and a test animation real quick of Sydney. The babe. Okay, so if you guys will take a quick listen.
Me too. It's my favorite holiday.
And yeah, so that just worked so well. Yeah.
Me too. It's my favorite holiday.
And as you guys can see, like, this doesn't look like SFM anymore. We're way beyond that. So we hope you guys love Mel. And you know, it's really crazy because you guys already do. Like, we've gotten fan art at like the table. It was you. She just, a round of applause, please. Come and give it. Because like when we all, we're like, this is like our little thing we made, and people love it, and we haven't even released the video yet. But most importantly, we are hoping that Mel is going to join the cast of our other Sonic OCs that you guys all love, including Pinky the Hedgehog. Soras! And he comes from the planet Earth! Yes!
Biscuit.
And most importantly, Tails' dad. Werehog. So, I'm excited. So, if you guys remember in Sonic and Scared Stupid Part 3, I've always liked the Werehog's design. I'm like, wow, cool, monster Sonic. And the problem for me was that they were kind of the same person, and I felt like, I was hoping it was going to be like Sonic Adventure 2, where there was going to be like a hero and a dark side. So I'm like, oh, I'll do it then. And we all know that the Werehog is like obsessed with candy. He's just like I guess his brother, Francis. But we all know he met at a grisly demise in the pool full of acid, you know, a little gruesome. That's made for kids. So speaking of gruesome, we wanted to make him look really gruesome. So he was, of course, designed by Rihanna and modeled by Lix's, and he just looks like hell. And I'm sure the next time that him and Sonic meet, it's not going to be pretty. You guys want to see that? Yeah! So we have a clip from Scared Stupid 4. I must ask, if you are recording this part, please don't upload this part to YouTube unless you face their copyright wrath. This is all going to go up on the channel, hopefully, if the video capture works. So we've had a hell of a time getting this going. So here is a shot. This is done with a couple little things we're going to change, so hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, buddy! Looking good. Going for that brains look. You're still not mad about the pool thing? We'll put in a fence.
So as you guys can see, the absolute completely different world that we're in with Blender is just nuts. And that's the beauty of this whole thing, is that, like, you guys can clearly see from the beginning of my time to now, it's been nothing but improvement. But this is going to probably be like the peak, if I can be completely honest with you. So what's the next slide? Okay, hold on. All right, so when are we going to release Scared Stupid 4? So the problem we have is, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, is that our channel has been attacked by YouTube itself. They've introduced this awful made-for-kids. Yeah, boo so they could see it. You guys stink. Anyway, so YouTube is basically eating itself alive. It's a cannibal. And it's introducing these new policies that are like, all animation is for children, which is, we all know is not. I mean, is Spider-Verse for kids? Is Rick and Morty for kids? I mean, they have clips of Family Guy like made for kids, or like terrorist attacks, but made for kids. So the problem is that my channel does, as you guys know, it's always about like kind of like quality and like about like making an adventure or something. But unfortunately, to YouTube stooges up in corporate, they think that that's made for kids. So I'm going to try to explain this process. So and YouTube goes, and they say, no, your video is made for kids. So then he gets sick and goes, and it's basically, what happens is that the views just plummet, the revenue plummets, and then worst of all for me is the comments are completely disabled. So, for example, our last Christmas with Sonic video, everyone was like, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's gone forever. I'll never get to see those comments again. And they are not going to stop. There are some things we can do to help. The thing is that this is a base level YouTube issue. They have to want to fix this, and they don't. So in order for you guys to help, firstly, tweet at Team YouTube. I'm talking about the audience at home. You guys know that these made for kids policies are dangerous for children. And it's not just me. It's other Sonic channels like Sasso Studios, Sonic Song 182. They're dealing with these issues, and it's like Sonic is not for kids. And I know that that's something that's like a hot button issue, but it's kind of like, you can walk into Spencer's right now and buy a Sonic the Hedgehog shot glass, and hey, while you're at it, you could buy some toys for adults. So I know those are for making kids, but that's not for kids. So another thing you guys can do is you can become a YouTube member. That's $3 a month, and you get tons of behind-the-scenes access. I know Indigo Blue is here. We post all kinds of different work in progress. It really helps the wait between videos. But some other things you could do is you could watch older videos, stuff that you guys haven't seen in a while, binge it, put it on loop, whatever you want to do. Leaving a comment is really important. And I don't want this to sound like a YouTube video, but make sure you guys comment, rate, and subscribe. So you see, the problem is that back in the old days, when you would hit subscribe, you know when people were making stuff. Now you have to hit subscribe, then you gotta hit the bell, then you have to say the bell goes, no, you want everything? You go, yeah. So that's really important to do. So while that is a thing, I don't want to make this doom and gloom. I am working on Scared Stupid as much as I can. It will literally have to be a case where they like terminate my channel or whatever. They might because I'm talking about them, but I'm not afraid of them. And I can promise you guys that this movie is going to be great. But there's also stuff that's going to come after this. Oh, really quick. See, I don't have my slides. There's me. You see, that's the big guy with the thing. And oh, you. So really quick, I've been getting more into voiceover because I used to be a full-time YouTuber. I was doing it like all the time. I know I didn't upload often, but it's like this stuff takes time. So what I eventually did was I'm like, okay, well I have to do more voiceover stuff. So I've been getting voiceover work, and it's been going really well. If you guys ever need a voice actor, okay. Anyway, so let's talk about the future beyond Scared Stupid. So assuming that YouTube doesn't nuke my channel from orbit for simply existing, there's been a project that I've been working on the side for about 10 years now. It's my personal response to how I feel about Sonic. Because about 10 years ago, I was probably at my lowest with Sonic, with in Sonic Boom. But and I was kind of like, what would I want to see? What do I want to do with Sonic? And that's where Project Warrior comes into fruition. I'm old. So I got my Genesis when I was 4, and a lot of Sonic fans like to say, "Oh, Sonic is Sonic." Maybe back then, not now. They've officially split them down the middle. And I was like, okay, well, what do I want to see? I want to see the amalgamation of like what would happen if they made a Sonic show in the mid-90s. And so I continued to kind of develop this idea. And a lot of you guys know that most of my videos are like these one-off things. Like, you got Camping Chaos, you got Scared Stupid. Like, they're always like these one-off kind of projects. But what would happen if I made an animated series? Because in 2014, I canceled Sonic and Jurassic Park for the reason being that it was finally going to be made in SFM, but I'm like, oh, he can run now. No one's going to watch, not want to see Sonic running away from a T-Rex. Like, they're like, oh, well, he could just beat him up, So I was like, well, now I can do whatever I want. Let's actually make something that's true to Sonic, and not just in a canon sense, but in my heart of what truly Sonic is. I keep forgetting what the slides are. Okay, there we go, perfect. So this is the timeline we currently have now. You are here. I purposely named Scared Stupid the final chapter because it is going to be the end of what we call the Source timeline, which of course references Gary's Mod and SFM being made in the Source engine, and Sonic Zombies as the spin-off. But Sonic Warriors is going to basically take everything over. There's not going to be any more of these going on anymore because they've had their time. I mean, look at that. It's 15 years in that little bar. So I really wanted to give it a big send-off with Scared Stupid, but then after that we're going to get to Sonic Warriors. The story of Sonic Warriors, this takes place about a few weeks after the Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where Sonic and Tails have made themselves a little remote island because they want to feel safe from Dr. Eggman. Even though they think he's gone, they're not playing around. They're called the Sonic Warriors because they have brave hearts, and they also want to now try to correct some of the evil in the world besides Eggman. But of course, Eggman is still alive and well under the bottom of the ocean. And when we start off the series, he's pretty depressed because he's like, oh, I just can't beat Sonic. But then his new little companion, Mo, comes in, the Motobug, and basically gives him some words of encouragement. And he's ready to roll and get going. So the characters in Sonic Warrior, of course, we have Sonic. Now, Sonic's going to be a lot different than the current incarnation that I do or the official ones. He's not an arrogant, cocky guy who's like annoying and he's like, oh, like I hate my friends. Sonic in this series is what I consider a static character because he's already gone through his arc through 1, 2, and 3 in CD. So now Sonic is going to be a beacon of positive reinforcement across the world. So while Sonic's story is kind of done, he is going to positively influence everyone, including his friend Tails. And Tails is, in this series, yes. Tails fans, you're going to be happy. So my problem with modern Tails and like a lot of Tails incarnations is that he's just the answer to Sonic to get, oh, I'm looking at my device. Okay, go do it. Tails in this series, in our little series Bible, he's a mechanic. He's, whoopsie daisy. He's a mechanic. So he's not going to be a boy super genius that invents like all these things. And as you can tell from like the way the computer is, like this takes place in like I guess a retro future, like early 90s kind of thing, where Tails knows a little bit about computers, but he's mainly about tinkering. And as far as character development, he's still a little afraid. He's not a coward, but the thing about with the static character with Sonic is that Sonic's going to be a positive influence on Tails. So Tails is a little afraid, but I want to look brave for Sonic. And they're brothers, they're not going to bicker, they're not going to be like, you betrayed me, and all that other stuff. And Sonic Forces did that character so dirty. Knuckles. So, Knuckles fans, be happy because we're fixing Knuckles. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that Knuckles has had it rough for the past few years. The Sonic movie, he was good in the Sonic movie. But he's always been like a kind of an idiot and like he's like hot-headed, where I've always felt that Knuckles was best as a character that while he does have a temperament, he's a good guy. And at this point in the series, we're going to have Knuckles have a lot of different conflicting emotions because, for example, in this, he's now brooding because the adventure is over. He just got a taste of the outside world of Sonic. Like, what is this whole world? Do I want to be loyal to the Master Emerald or do I want to see the world for myself? Because I know a lot of kids out there could probably relate that like their parents are like, no, you can't do that. But he's like, but I want to live my life and do my thing. So throughout the series, Knuckles is going to go through a lot of like despair of like, oh, like, I don't really want to do this, but I should do this. It's the right thing to do. And I will tell you that it all amalgamates into something a little later that I think a lot of people are going to be happy. I mean, like, you know, there's kind of like energy in a certain emerald that creates some kind of monster or something like that. I don't know. Amy! So, with Amy, I know you guys, as we mentioned earlier, I've not been the nicest to Amy, but that's all going to change with Scared Stupid and Sonic Warriors. Amy, of course, still loves Sonic, but he does not return the favor. But what matters most to Amy and Sonic together is that their friendship is like above like all like that surface level stuff. Amy is going to be the world's first blogger because the internet just came out a few months ago in this universe. So she's the first person that's going to be blogging, and she's also going to have her tarot cards like the fortune tell. So sometimes Sonic and Tails and them are going to have to go and ask for advice, but she will be in the thick of it with them. And we also are going to have other characters. I wouldn't applaud just yet because you guys are going to hate what I'm going to do to Shadow. Number one, he's not an experiment from a space colony, okay? And number two, he's got rollerblades. It's the 90s, baby. So yeah, I'm not trying to be canon. I'm not trying to be, you know, like accurate. I'm just like, what would I do with these characters? So Rouge, she likes to steal because she likes to steal. You know what I mean? And with Shadow, he's going to have like Maria is not going to be a human. He's not going to be his little sister, like stuff like that. She's going to be a Mobian. You know, I'm sure you guys have seen like KN, like Sonic 122's, like her kind of design for Maria. You know, and there's going to be like a little bit like while the show is going to be really lighthearted and fun, there's also going to be character moments that really come from the heart, and it's not just going to be loud action or anything like that. And, you know, this is just concept. So the world is going to be huge. It's going to borrow from everything Sonic all across, not just one. And, you know, the comedy, which, while it's not a comedy show, it's going to come from the story, not just, hey, do you get that reference? You know, so it's going to be stuff that you can watch again and again because it actually comes from somewhere that's not surface level Sonic. This is deep Sonic. And stuff like Sonic the Screensaver and all this other stuff that's really going to influence this world. Yes, that's right. It's just, so what I like to say is it's if the OVA and Man of the Year had a baby, that's Sonic Warriors, because the OVA is cool, and like, you know, the old school Sonic is really the Sonic for me because I feel like there's still just so much untapped potential. But that's really it as far as the content goes. So just please, obviously, keep your eye on stuff. And I guess we could start a Q&A now. Yeah, so.
So, you said yourself that when Val is getting the character, I'm wondering, will she eat more afterwards, or will that only be
So as I mentioned, the source timeline will be coming to an end. So all the modern Sonic stuff is going to be put, you know, away. And I know that it's kind of a controversial thing because in the fan base, everybody hates classic Sonic right now. But these characters have had a long time to do their thing. Now, we actually had a discussion the other day as, oh, would Mel show up in Sonic Warriors? And it's like, we'll see.
All right. And the second question, you said yourself the source timeline is over. Are you going to do like some sort of tribute? Not like animation, but like a look back at all the stuff that happened in source timeline, or is this...
I don't have any plans for that right now, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs in Scared Stupid, the final chapter, that kind of close that book. you know, obviously, actually the opening of the movie is the whole Christmas with Sonic cast is having a Halloween party instead. There's a really great joke with Manic in there, so you guys are gonna like that. And that is it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
If you talk about Sonic Warriors, I actually wanted to come and ask you about something that was recently found in the internet, considering classic Sonic. I wanted to ask, without, you know, too many thoughts on it, what are your thoughts on Sonic Superstars?
So my friends and I, who are in town for Sonic Rev, we were like, hey, you can go to Summer Games Fest. It's only a couple bucks. We're like, okay. And then that happened, and I screamed. For me, I'm pretty excited about it. It looks like it's pretty good. I wish we knew more why the Christian Whitehead stuff didn't work out, because that man is a genius. Sonic Mania is the best game in a long time for me. My only concern is the music at this point, but if T. Lopes is working on it, then I trust it. It looks good, though. I'm very excited.
Which software was the most hard to animate? So Filmmaker or Blender?
Okay, basically that's like driving a 1985 like DeLorean versus a like hybrid 2024 car. So Source Filmmaker has its place. It's especially if you want to make just like video game style cutscenes, it's fine. But Blender is an actual animation program. Source Filmmaker was hard because it was like kind of putting my animations together with like glue and tape, where Blender's like a whole suite of like, oh, that worked? Okay.
Hi, so besides Sonic Warriors, are there any more ideas, concepts that you plan to do in the future?
No, because it's just taking up so much time just to get Scared Stupid done. But you know, especially with Sonic Warriors, because I actually forgot to mention this in the panel. Plan is it's an animated series, so we have 7 seasons planned, but we got to get through the first one first, and it's going to be 5 episodes at about 10 to 15 minutes apiece. That's going to be all my time. As far as the future goes, I really don't know, because I was going to get this far. So we're just seeing what's going to happen around the corner.
My question is for Sonic Warriors. Is Amy still going to be very obsessive, and are you only going to stick with the characters you showed us, like Shadow, Rouge, and Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic?
Okay, that's a good question. So Amy in particular, while she is going to love Sonic and she wants to, you know, be around him all the time, she values their friendship more, like as far as not going too far. Will always be on the lookout to try to get him. As far as other characters go, yeah, we have plans for the Chaotix. I know we wanted to do Knack, the Weasel. There's like, I will say that, as I was hinting earlier, Chaos. So there might be a whole Sonic Adventure thing, but there are more characters. There's actually going to be new original characters too. Like there's going to be the Grizzly Father, who's a big bear like Don Corleone. Oh, you call him Don as well. So there's a lot more to expect. But yeah, Amy's going to be great. She's going to be kicking some butt with her hammer.
Are you going to try to add Sonic Underground?
Maybe. There was actually an idea. I have a list of episodes that are like, if we have time, I would like to remake the first Christmas with Sonic in that. So you'd have Manic and Sonya and stuff. But that's if we get to it. Come on. For all we know, I got an email right now. You're dead.
Originally, I was going to ask your thoughts on Sonic Superstars as well, but now I was going to ask, what was your thoughts on how Sonic 4 handled it back when it first got announced?
So I will admit, Sonic 4 Episode 1 is, in my opinion, the worst Sonic game of all time. And now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, this is worse. No, you don't understand. It had the nerve to say that it was the sequel we waited 16 years for. I'm old. I've been waiting for that sequel. And it was Sonic Mania. Sonic 4 is, I'm sorry, it's awful in just about every way. Episode 2 was a little bit better. But, like, you know, the physics and the music, and it's just like a dying cat was playing the keyboard, and just, like, to me, it's insulting because, in my opinion, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the greatest video game ever made. So, like, to say, I'm the sequel, thank you, guy. I'm the sequel to the greatest thing you've ever played, and then it's like, no thanks. But I think that Superstars could be good. We'll have to see what happens.
You were talking kind of like how Sonic's going to be different in Sonic Warriors. This is just a two-part question, but so what's the first part? Is his voice going to be any similar to the voice you provide for Sonic in like all the Scared Stupid videos, or is it going to be kind of different?
Well, that's the thing. Currently, with the Scared Stupid and like the Source, I'm doing a kind of diaphragmatic voice where where Warrior Sonic is going to be a bit more higher up and like more fun. Like he's going to do voices himself. So there's a part in the first episode, I'm not going to give too much away, where Sonic and Tails are going through an abandoned minecart, like Underground Zone from Sonic 2 8-bit, and he sees a loop-de-loop and he's like, loop-de-loop, my favorite, you know, like stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be a little different, but I don't think too many people are going to notice it. It's just a thing that I'm going to do. So.
And when you're talking about like characters you're going to add, like, but for villains or Sonic Warriors, are there any villains besides like Robotnik or Chaos that you're thinking you might add? Is there's going to be different seasons, so you might want to
I will say that Metal and Mecha Sonic get their own season. So I can't give too much away, but yeah, absolutely. I love all the Sonic characters. I mean, Eggman's my favorite villain, but yeah, I love Metal Sonic and I love Mecha Sonic. Like, which one do I pick? And I'm like, both. So that's what's going to happen with that.
Mine is kind of more of like a little joke.
Okay.
But is Sonic still sponsored by Pizza Hut?
I am so glad you asked that question. But I've got some bad news. So I'm sure you guys know, I'm not a big fan of the voice of Sonic right now. And it's gotten worse. So, you know, like he used to do like this kind of voice, you know, like, whoa, like that was cool. Now he's like down here. He's like, of course, babe, you're so valid. Of course you can invite your boyfriend to our wedding. So if I ever did another Sonic Zombies, I'd have to change the voice and he would never drive a Hummer. He'd be like, no, that is like not good for the environment. But he still like uses plastic straws and like drinks Starbucks like 3 times a day. So I would say, oh, like, dude, I'm gonna drive like my Tesla, and it blows up. This message is brought to you by Valid Feelings.
How did you come up with Tails Dad?
You are the worst. I despise you. Well, I came up with Tails' dad because this jerk from Canada became my friend, and we needed a Tails' dad. And if you guys watch Christmas with Sonic in Paradise, you'll notice that Tammy, Tails' mom, has a Jersey accent with K-N in it, and then I made Melancholy do it, and she has a completely different voice, and then Sorash becomes their kid. So yeah, that's how we came up with Tails' dad, because of you, Dad. By the way, everybody, Ted is important to the channel too, because he gets all the models, and when we saw Superstars, we're like, all right, next question.
I wanted to ask for Sonic, your Sonic Warriors, are you planning on an overarching plot for Super in general, or is it more going to be stories very limited to not limited, but very focused on episodic?
So I'm the kind of person that when I binge a TV show, I hate when a season ends and you're still not done with the story. But each season's going to have a story. So rather than every episode is on its own, there's going to be different. There's going to be different seasons. Are going to all have their arching stories, but there will be an overall arching story of just like, you know, Eggman's trying to do his thing. But I think it's really important that there's no filler. I think it's really important that when you watch a new episode every week, you're excited to see it. And you're not like, oh, great, they're going to the beach. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Warriors is going to be, there's going to, like, each season's, like, we haven't marked down, like, this season's about the hard-boiled heavies, and this season's about, you know, Metal Sonic and stuff like that. So there is going to be a story, but I'm not going to make you guys mad by saying, well, tune in next year for Sonic Warriors.
If I may ask last question here, what do you hope to see from the next generation of Sonic fans who are going on now?
Next generation of Sonic fans? What we want to see from the next generation of Sonic fans, and I mean this like dearly, is that everybody needs to learn that Sonic is an old franchise. We are all not going to agree. Everyone in this room probably has a preferred Sonic. Just be nice to each other about it. Like, if somebody doesn't like something you like, who cares? Do you like it? Then fine, you're good. I want Sonic fans to all agree that Sonic is Sonic to them, but there's also other people that like something different. I just mentioned earlier, I don't like Sonic Boom, but I'm not going to tell somebody who doesn't like Sonic Boom that they're awful. I mean, I came from a time when there was Sonic bubblegum and like fruit roll-ups. Like, it was everywhere. Every store was Sonic, and now it's like you barely see them, but the fan base is just as strong as ever. So I want to see them as creative as ever. I want you youngins to go download a modeling program and just start making Sonic stuff or voice acting, whatever it is. I get this a lot, like, how do you become a voice actor? And I'm like, what do you mean? You are one. You just had to do it. So with Sonic fans, don't hold yourself to any kind of standard but your own, and love what you love and just be nice to each other, because we're all in this room right now because we love one thing, Sonic. And it doesn't matter which or how old you were when you got into it. There's no bigger Sonic fan. There's no smaller Sonic fan. There's nothing like that. I just want everybody to get along, because Twitter is toxic. You can't even go, I like Sonic without, oh, so you like Sonic, do ya? Cancel him. Get him out. So just be nice to each other, you know, like the younger crowd, and just learn that there's going to be, we're all together in this, you know, like regardless if you like one game or not, if you like 06, Frontiers, or old school, new school, it doesn't matter. Just be nice to each other and just love Sonic. It's that simple. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's kind of like, let me give you an example. I go to the grocery store, and as you can tell, I don't like broccoli. So I don't go up to the broccoli and go, ah, broccoli, why? I go get some chicken wings. But other people like broccoli, so let them eat broccoli. You can sit at the table and eat the broccoli. I can sit at the table and eat chicken wings. We're eating, aren't we? So it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. Just be nice to each other. That should be just a thing, period. So, I mean, and I guess that's it. We're probably, we actually made it a little early. So yeah, I guess I'll end with thank you guys for filling up this room. It validates everything that I do, because I work like with very little breaks to try to get things done. And yeah, thank you. I also wanted to thank Kevin and the Sonic Revolution people, because I come here every year. I will come here every year as long as I'm continuing to be invited. I love doing this. And if you guys did have anything else you want to ask, you can ask at the table. And I want to leave you guys with that. I know that this YouTube stuff sucks, but I love doing what I do. So you don't have to worry about me just like abandoning ship. I was supposed to retire in 2020, but when I said, okay, guys, I'm done, nobody was mad. They were like, oh, you deserve the rest. I'm like, no, I got to keep going. So I was like, all right, I'll keep going. So as long, you know, this is why I do what I do. There's no other reason. And like with the YouTube Kids thing, it's not even about the money. Like, because when I got monetized, the first thing I said was, whoa, I get a budget. So, you know, and I just want to do that. And as long as I can continue to do it, I will do it. You know, Sega's been very kind to me, so it's not like we have to worry about them. So just leave with knowing that you guys mean a lot to me, and ooba dooba. Thanks, guys.